Hi, this is Mrs. Barrett, and today we are going to find the volume of a rectangular prism. We are starting on page 475 in your Big Go Math book. We are on lesson 11.9. Please pause the lesson at any time if you have any questions or need to go and take your notes in your math notebook. Our essential question today is, how can you find the volume of a rectangular prism? Here's our connection about something that you know that you've already learned. So the base of a rectangular prism is a rectangle. You know that angle area is measured in square units, or units squared. And that the area of a rectangle can be found by multiplying its length times its width. Length times width. Volume is measured in cubic units, or units cubed. When you build a prism and add each layer of the cubes, you are adding a third dimension, and that is its height. So the area of the base of this is 3 is its width, 3 is its length, so it is 3 times 3, length times width, will equal 9. Our third dimension that we're going to add is going to be our height. Once we have our height, now we have units cubed. Unlock the problem. Sid built the rectangular prism shown at the right using 1-inch cubes. The prism has a base that has a rectangle and has a height of 4 cubes. What is the volume of the rectangular prism that Sid built? So you can find the volume of a rectangular prism in cubic units by multiplying the number of square units in the base shape, which is its length times its width, by the number of layers, or its height. Then we're going to multiply height. Each layer of Sid's rectangular prism is composed of blank inch cubes. So each layer has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 inch cubes. Now we're going to multiply the height, because there's how many layers? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to take the height, which is 4, and multiply that by 12. So I'm going to skip down by 12 now. I have 12 in the first layer. And if I add the second layer, I have 24. 12 is the first layer. Then I have 24. Add another 12. Now I'm going to have 36. And add another 12 to that, and I'm going to have 48. When you're multiplying to find your height, you can add repeatedly or multiply. How does the volume change as each layer is added? Well, as you add a layer, the volume is going to increase by the number of cubic units in each layer. So the volume is going to increase by the number of units cubed in each layer. And in this case, our answer would be 12. What does the number you multiply the height by represent? So the number that I'm multiplying the height by is the area of the base shape. Or the amount of cubic units in one layer. abbreviate here, cubic units in each layer. And when I'm talking about one layer, the way to find that layer is each layer is going to be length times width. So the volume of Sid's rectangular prism, after I add up each layer, 12, 12, 12, 12, or after I multiply the height, which is 4, times my 12, I'm going to get 48 inches cubed. This is another way to say that is inches cubed. This is just an abbreviation for that. When I have the 3 in my exponent, that's another way to say that is cubed. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to relate height to volume. I'm going to read a problem to you, and then we're going to break it down in order to answer that problem. We're going to try 2 different ways of answering the problem. One way, another way. Okay. Tony stacks cube-shaped beads that measure 1 centimeter on each edge in a storage box. The box can hold 6 layers of 24 cubes with no gaps or overlaps. What is the volume of Tony's storage box? So now I need to think about in my head, what are the dimensions of the base of the box? Well, I know I can see the box here. So each layer in the base layer, if I see my length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. And then I look over here, and my width is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my dimensions are 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. And what operation can you use to find the area of the base shape? Well, I'm going to do multiplication. To find the area of this base. So the volume of each bead, so if I'm just taking one of these little beads out, this right here, is going to be 1 centimeter cubed. Because it says that in my answer. The storage box has a base with an area of, so if I'm talking about base, remember base equals my length times my width. So my length times my width, 6 times 4, is going to give me 24 centimeters squared. Another way to do that is you could count them up. If I have 4 layers, with 6 in each layer, that would give me 24. The height of my box is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now, what I have to do is I have to find the volume. So I'm going to take my base area, which is 24, and then I'm going to multiply that times my height. So if I do 24 times 6, 4 times 6 is 24, carry my 2, so I'm going over to the next place value. 2 times 6 is 12, adding my 2 gives me 144. Now I have 144 centimeters cubed because I know I'm dealing with the volume and I'm talking about a 3-dimensional shape. So that's one way to solve the problem. You find the base, and you take your base, volume equals your base times height. Okay? The other way is to use your length, your width, and your height. And for my length, my width, and my height, I'm going to do the same operation and multiply them. So you know that the area of the base of the storage box is 24 centimeters. The base has a length of 6. It has a width of 4. And a height, the height was 6. So now we can take my base area, which is 6 times 4, and then multiply that times my height. Or we could say 6 times 4, let's set this up like a numerical expression, 6 times 4 times 6. So then I have 24 times 6, or now, because I've already done the math, I can tell you that this is 144 centimeters cubed. So the volume of the storage box is still 144 centimeters cubed. It basically just depends on how you're looking at the problem. If you want to be able to visualize one layer and then add up each layer, because another way to do this is you could technically take 24 and add it up 6 times. 24 plus 24 is 48, plus another 24 will eventually, if you keep adding, will get you to that 144. Alright, so our hot question, our higher order thinking question, is what if each cube-shaped bead measured 2 centimeters on each edge? How would the dimensions of the storage box change? Well, it would increase, and how would the volume change? So what I would basically do is each of the dimensions would be twice as long. So instead of this being 6 centimeters, we would have 12. Instead of that being 4, we would have 8. Instead of that being 6, we would have, again, 12. So I could do 2 times the quantity, 6 times 4 times 6. I could double them. Each dimension would be, so I would have 2 centimeters here, 2 centimeters here, 2 centimeters here. So the volume of each cube, 2 times the quantity. If I take 2 times 6, 2 times 4, and 2 times 6, it would be 12, 4, and 12. My answer would be, after I multiply it out, 1,152 centimeters cubed. Today you are going to answer questions 1 through 7. Remember to find the length, width, and height, and you are going to multiply your length times your width times your height, or find your base, which equals length times width, and then multiply base times height. Please let me know in Teams if you have any questions. And make sure to send me a snapshot of your work. Thank you.